are live, and this is VIDLIFT. Something new, something great, something wonderful. Tonight, we're going to watch a 1-minute video from all of you guys that have submitted them. We're going to watch James Catanese. We're going to watch a video of his, and David from Texas Family Camping. And David's here to talk about his video. That's going to be great. We'll have a 4-panel discussion about things that you could do to improve your video or options maybe you want to do next time. And then we'll show the video again, and then we'll have a round table and we'll discuss a whole lot of different things about the video. If you would like to be on the show, you can email us at vidlift@gmail.com. And it's also pinned to the top of the chat. And the stream bot's going to be coming around, dropping that same link as well. So if you have a video and you'd like to submit it to VidLift, go ahead and click on the link, go over there and do that business and all that good stuff. And it's pretty awesome because we're going to look at your video and we're going to give you a little bit of watch time, and we're going to talk about some things, and we're real friendly and won't beat you up too bad. It'll be, just a discussion. We'll learn a little bit, and maybe everybody in the chat will learn a little bit. So hopefully it'll be a good thing. The next show will be Scott McGuire's on Tires next Tuesday at 8:10 at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 8 p.m. for all those goofy people over there at Central Time. Like I said, tonight we'll be watching James Catanese and David from Texas Family Camping. That's going to be the show. Now I'm going to bring the two of the other panel up here, and then the third guy or fourth guy, he's late. He is actually a school teacher, and he is tardy, absent. He didn't come to school on time. All right, let me bring this guy up.
Hey.
Oh, how about tell everybody who you are, what you are, and what you're doing?
I'm a human. My name's Donovan. I'm from channel RV on the Wayside with my wife Jody, and I'm in the camper. We're camping right now, and these are my shirts behind me as background, and they're right up against me, so they're going to move with me all night. We like to make fun videos, like to make people laugh, a little bit of education, a little bit of traveling, and whatever else I can come up with.
That's awesome. And you're happy to be here?
Oh, happy, yes.
And you're excited about reviewing somebody's video and talking great stuff about it, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm so excited about Scott not being late, absent, tardy, because it means he won't have as much time to talk.
That's ironic that the teacher is late.
Oh, yeah. We'll get him.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me bring this other guy up here and go ahead and introduce yourself, young man.
Trombone. Oh, wait. I'm a day late on that one. Rats. Yeah, I totally missed that. That was last night. My bad. Oh, man. Hey, I'm Dave with Texas Family Camping, and we're in an RV living on the road. We haven't been in Texas in a month. Can you believe that? Isn't that crazy? We've been on the road.
I think it's great. Hey.
He said, hey.
I think it's great that both of you guys are getting out and doing things.
Yes, I think it's really exciting. I'm especially excited for Donovan and Jody to hit the road again, because I'm hoping we can get some travel videos out of them. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
yes.
We should have time to do a little magic video this week.
It's possible if work doesn't bog me down, but this week should be good, hopefully.
Got good enough weather, I hope.
Normally with a meetup, there should be some collaboration thoughts going on. There should be something happening between YouTubers there in Amana.
Something. There's another.
I brought my
channel
clipper
right
for Dave's hair and beard, so that's my collab.
I actually trimmed last night. I made sure to leave some clippings in the bathroom so that the people that work here could actually clean something up this morning.
Well, hello,
You-
Scott. You're right on time. Would you go
Hey.
ahead and introduce yourself and tell the channel
Trombone.
what you're all about?
Trombone.
Trombone.
Hey guys, I'm Scott from McGuire's on Tires. My family and I like to travel around and do cool things and share our adventures on the YouTubes. And we put out a video every week or so. We do a live stream on Monday nights. And then we join you guys on Tuesday nights to check out videos and learn some things from each other and provide some feedback. And I'm so glad to be here.
Well, that's
Oh, I
outstanding.
can't wait for him to. I can't wait for him to play it back and listen to all the horrible things we said. That's
come on.
Silverback.
We did not say anything horrible.
Only true things.
Yes. Well, I tell you what, since we're moving right along, why don't we go ahead and play this clip, and then we'll come back, talk about it a little bit, and we'll see what happens.
Oh my God! Look! She did it!
How do you say it? Speech pathologist.
Crying time.
So she started having me write down what I wanted to say, right? And then she had me sing the first two words of the sentence, because you notice when people sing, they don't stutter. So if I wanted to say, hey, how y'all doing today? I'm like, hey, how y'all doing today? Then once I get going, I'm good to go. But ever since I learned how to stop stuttering, well, I can't stutter.
You know what? Look, it's beautiful. Beautiful. Kids' voices, to trumpets, to rainbows, to honey, to sunset and silent. And I feel like it's a bigger metaphor of teaching kids that they should use their voice for good.
Oh, honey, I'm so proud of you.
It's super important to me because I feel like
That's why she came to my house.
Oh, that was awesome. That was awesome. Oh my goodness. An emotional moment. You want to lead off, Donovan?
Sure, I'll steal everybody's thunder.
You probably will.
Fantastic emotional moment, right? There's nothing better than seeing people be so happy together like that. So, I mean, there's not a lot you can say about those kinds of video clips. Lighting, maybe, but hey, this is a classic moment, right? So the things I'm going to say don't really matter. I mean, how do you change something like that needs to be just the way it is? The sound of puppies' collar every time they re-embraced made me chuckle a little bit. After the third time watching, when I realized they're going like this while they're hugging, and then the dog's doing the call, that made me laugh a little bit. But it took like the third time till I caught on. And I love the fact that the guy in the background on the TV said sing. When people sing, they don't stutter. And I'm thinking, when I'm crying, I stutter a lot. What do you think, Dave?
That is a really emotional video. It's, giving constructive criticism is tough on that one because ultimately James is capturing a moment here, an emotional family moment that is beautiful and it is nice. I mean, the video captured the moment and shared it, and I can even see in the chat people got the emotion from it. So that was done very well. It did kind of crack me up hearing the guy talk on the TV to go with it. I guess you could call that the comedic relief. It kind of helped with the moment, I thought. I guess if there was one thing I might have done is I guarantee you James has got some photos of this young lady that's graduated. So I probably would have just thrown like a few, maybe towards the end or maybe in the middle, since it was kind of a long drawn out hug, just thrown maybe a few photos from young to old to graduation. Could have even just been like 4 photos of maybe about 2 seconds each. Would have given a little bit of context to maybe grasp who this person was, like a quick screenshot of their whole life. That's all I really would have done differently. It's a moving emotional moment, and it's a lot of times those are really hard to capture. You can't really set those up, and you can't always have the best camera and microphone for those. So it was a beautiful moment. What do you got, Scott?
Sorry about that. That's everything I had to say. I had not thought about the photos. I think that's a great point. That's a great thing to put in, because if it's somebody I know and I have an emotional connection to, somebody I live with and see all the time, I'm going to be 100% there with you the whole time. But if it's not somebody I'm as familiar with, something to give it context, that's a great point. There are some things you can't change about that. The moment itself, you can never recreate that moment. You had to capture what was there. But there are always some things that you can address. And like Donovan said, the lights, the dogs. I mean, you see the moment come and mute the TV, you know, add some light. Hey, I'm going to video this and hit the lights and then catch it. But what we could have done, and we're talking about adding context with the photos, there could also be some narration there to talk about, hey, here's why this was such a tough journey. This is why this is such an emotional moment for us. Just some narration, even if it's while you're filming. Hey, here's this. But, you know, if you're filming a moment like that, I don't know if you've got the steady voice to give that narration at that moment. That might have to be something that comes in later. But the other thing, the first time I watched it, the thing that came to mind was there was a moment. It was when the embrace first happened. That was the moment. That's the climax. That's what you're building to. So if there had been some music going along under all of that, and then we start to build, and then the embrace and the music swells, add Dave's pictures, add some narration. I mean, it was already a beautiful moment. But if we've got to give feedback, those are just a couple of things I would have thought of doing. What do you think, Steve?
Well, I'll agree with all of you. I think it goes back to what we've discussed in previous shows. Is it depends on the intent of the video. Obviously, this was a moment that they captured. You know, she came in, they had the mind to video it, and it was just an awesome emotional embrace and celebration of her graduation, and now, you know, it's just a video for friends and family. So, you know, you could probably do a whole lot of things with it. But number one, I don't know how many people search for that. I mean, it would have probably made a good, like a short. I mean, if you wanted to show that, because it's very emotional. But I think the intent is just to show it and share it with friends and family. And I think for that purpose, he did well. But yes, you could go on with, you know, you could have taken that and put some music with it and gave it a little bit more oomph. And thumbs, titles, tags, you know, those types of things that, you know, you put into a video to make it searchable, you know, the SEO stuff. You could do those things as well, but I don't necessarily think this video warrants that. I think it is what it is. It was a very emotional captured event, and he captured it and he put it out on his YouTube channel for friends and family. And we're his friends and family. So James, we sure do appreciate that, and we appreciate, you know, you sharing that, because it was a very intimate you know, video of your family, and a little bit of crying going on there and stuff like that, crying of joy. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I had a good time. You want to show it again? And then we're going to have a round table, so we'll talk about it some more.
Look! She did it!
How do you say it? Speech pathologist.
Crying.
So she started having me write down what I wanted to say, right? And then she had me sing the first two words of the sentence, because you notice when people sing, they don't stutter. So if I wanted to say, hey, how y'all doing today? I'm like, hey, how y'all doing today? Then once I get going, I'm good to go. But ever since I learned how to stop stuttering, well, I can't stutter.
You know what? This book is beautiful. From kids' voices to trumpets to rainbows to honey to sunset and silent. And I feel like it's a bigger metaphor of teaching kids that they should use their voice for good.
Oh, honey, I'm so proud of you.
It's super important to me
in my house.
Man, did y'all hear those words the second time around there at the very end? The kids' voices,
Yeah.
the trumpets, the rainbows, and teaching kids they should use their voices for good. What
Yeah.
an amazing underlying, just, accidental happening that just went well with that moment.
Yes. Yes. I don't know. Cindy obviously was emotional. I don't know if you noticed it or not. I think James got a little emotional at the end as well. The end of that clip. He said, "That's right. That's family and friends." That's what James says. Oh, and I think Lance said he cried a little bit.
He did in the chat. And, speaking of intimacy that you mentioned, Steve, I know Scott's really close to Dave and just wanted to let Dave know he's loved, I guess. Someone mentioned it in the chat as well.
Uh-oh, Scott's reading the chat.
You know what I'm talking about?
Well, I'm not going to point him out.
Yeah, don't point him out. Don't point him out.
RCRV also mentioned some soft, passionate music during the hug would have been a good punch up for the emotion. I think that's like Scott mentioned that too.
Yes.
And James did say that she came in and surprised them, and they were not ready for that whole moment. So the fact that he even grabbed it, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. And once you start, you can't really, it's like all of a sudden it happens. And, that's just something that it just goes like that. Now, with that said, James, if you're out there, you are in the chat, but James, if you ever need any help with any of that, titles, tags, any of that video stuff, don't feel like you can't reach out to any one of us and we'll help you out the best we can.
Steve is a pro at that. Steve researches like crazy.
I don't know if I'm a pro, and I have done a little research, but not that much. I got to do better. I got to get on my game.
Wait. You're monetized, right?
Yes.
And so you're getting paid. That makes you a professional.
Hey, let me ask you guys. I think what we just watched is not in the category I'm about to say, but I'm curious. Do you ever find yourself filming something and there's a moment, whether it's an emotional moment or a funny moment or an accident, something that you really want to include, but you missed it or the angle was no good or something? Do you force your family to go back and you try to refilm it? Do y'all do that?
Well, I was out camping once and I was chopping wood and I hit my finger with an axe.
Yeah.
And I didn't get it on video.
You didn't? Well, did you go back and try it again?
I went back and recreated it.
Did it work? Did it look real?
I thought it looked awesome.
That's why he's missing 3 fingers, not 4.
That's great.
What's funny is the question was, did you ever ask your family to reenact that moment?
Yeah, good point. Good point. I've never had that situation like an accident or something like that, but I have went back and re-videoed certain things that I missed, and I think we talked about this once before. For me, it's not too bad because if I go out into the campground and I do something and then I go back and I go through the edit and it doesn't work out, as long as I wear the same shirt and make sure I'm halfway shaven the way I was before, I can go out and reenact that because I'm still at the campground, days later. And I've done that. I try to be sneaky about it so nobody knows.
I've done that as well.
You got to make sure you got the right glasses on.
You definitely do, because my kids will say something funny and inevitably it's not loud enough for the camera. So I have them go back and do it. And they're like, "Oh, Dad." So I go back and have the kids say it again. So like on our videos, everything you see really happened. It just may not be that was the first time. That might be the 7th attempt at making it happen.
Yes.
But like one time we were out on a trail and there was an arrow pointing this way and an arrow pointing where we thought we were supposed to go, and it said danger. And I think it was Sophie said something like, "Oh, I want to go that way. It says danger." It took me like 6 more takes to get it where she said it the first time. Well, then, so we stood there and we tried and we tried and we tried. And then we took another like dozen steps down the trail and there was a tree across the trail. And Carrie goes, "Oh, this must be the danger." And she jumped over. And I was like, Oh, can you come back and do that again? Oh, I thought they were going to punch me in the throat.
I guess I have to take it back. I started thinking there's been times where Jody and I set up the tripod and did something and wasn't centered. And we're like, I don't know if it's going to be as nice as it was the first time, but we're going to redo it. Yeah. And so, I guess we have.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't see that it takes away from the original intent. It gives the video some, I don't know, interesting moments, whether if you
don't see the original, right? So they don't know what they missed.
Yeah. Yep.
David.
The only problem is if you forget that, you're wearing the wrong clothes or something like that.
You've never done it?
Who, me?
David has.
Yeah.
Well, of course I've done it. That's how I know that my family gets mad at me and storms off and doesn't do it for me. So I don't ask anymore. Especially my kids. Or my dog.
I'm so glad the only scoring I get's my wife.
Guys ain't right. Hey, I got a question. Did you guys see the notice from YouTube about introductions, chapters?
Oh yeah, automatic.
So now, if your video qualifies, which I don't know what the qualifier is, they're going to automatically make chapters. What do you think about that?
Are you allowed to edit them afterward?
Well, you can opt out. But if you don't opt out and they decide they want chapters in your video, they'll put them in there. David's thinking.
Is there going to be a new menu or something? I mean, they've been adding a lot of extra menus when we publish videos.
Now, I'm not sure. If you scroll down when you go to load your video, if you scroll down to where it says about kids involved in your video or something like that, I forget where it's at, but it's the first page. If you scroll down, it'll give you an option to opt out. And I think you can pick like a standard opt out for every video.
So are they going to break the usual 0:00 intro? You know what I'm talking about, to initiate the chapters? Are they going to break that, or is it still going to work?
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't had a video that was that included chapters yet.
I usually do them for state parks. So, but that makes me wonder though. So everything is queued off the description. If they're going to break it, then we're going to have to go and re-edit all of the videos and the old videos that already had chapters. Kind of like how they just added the checkbox for allowing your video to be used in other people's shorts.
Yeah. I think if you've already got chapters, they're not going to go back and edit your chapters. Some of my videos lend themselves well to chapters. Like we put out an RV review. So it said all the parts of the RV that we reviewed. Some of our stuff, like we had a video come out yesterday and I almost was done with it and with the description and thought, this doesn't need chapters. It's just one flowing story. It doesn't need it. But then I went back and I put in some strategic chapters, not for people to actually go to the chapters, but I would put 0:00, and I didn't just write intro. I put the keyword of the video intro. So it happened to be Go Ape ziplining. I put 0:00 Go Ape ziplining intro. And then the next one was whatever, Go Ape ziplining overview. And so I got some more keywords in there that way. I don't know if it makes a difference or not, but I try to use it to my advantage.
So do you feel like the chapters help the creator or the viewer?
I always thought it was for the viewer. It's all about the viewer experience. And I don't, but one of my old favorite YouTubers, the very first, say 3 seconds of his video was a list of chapters before chapters was a thing, because he had all these funny things. And if you didn't want to see these, you could go straight to this. It would tell you where to skip to go to that. So I think it's about the viewer experience, but that was just an example of me going, let me see what I can use this for.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it. If I want chapters, I'll add them myself. If I don't really want to have someone else tell me what they're going to be, especially an AI style. I don't know if I'm happy with that.
Well, like I
If I
said,
want chapters, I'll add them, I think.
you can opt out.
Camping Therapy is asking, what are chapters? Steve, what are chapters?
Chapters are, you can choose to add chapters to your video by putting in the different chapters of your
Timestamp.
video. So you can have the very beginning to 1 could be intro, and then the first part could be, walking through a camper, and then the second part could be walking through the outside of the camper, and then the last part could be, a conclusion or something like that. But
Christmas decorations outside the camper.
Yeah, the decorations outside. I was trying to relay that to Camping Therapy, so, but yeah, it breaks the video down into sections like a book would have chapters. So the viewer could go, yeah, I don't really care about the inside. I want to see the outside. And he could jump all the way to chapter 2 and view the outside of the camper and miss half your video. But because it's for the viewer, that was what he wanted to see. So that's just the way it is.
And Doreen, what that does is at the bottom of the video, it actually shows intro, whatever, wherever it is. So if I'm watching and I'm about to click off your video, I might hover down here and it'll pop up and say, actually, did you want to see these other parts? I can click on this. And rather than me clicking off your video, I've now clicked on the part where I know you're going to show this other camper, and I watch that. So that could be a benefit to a creator for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm like Donovan. I have mixed emotion about it.
I typically don't use them except on like RV parks and state parks. And I'll put in there, here's the bathrooms and showers. Here's the campsites.
Right.
Here's the day use area. Here's the park store. So if you
Right.
came to my video to learn about that park, and then there was something specific you wanted to see, you can either find it through the description. There will be a link with the number, or if you hover on the timeline bar below at the bottom of the video, it will pop up and say, hey, this is where the bathrooms and showers are. You can click there. It will jump to that point and show you what it is you were looking for.
Right.
So Dave, what number are you for camping bathrooms in the YouTube, list
I'm not number 1 and number 2. I'm probably number 3 and number 4. I don't know.
Okay, fair enough.
We know who number 2 is. Hey, so I just wanted to bring that up about chapters. I was looking at it. I was on the fence. I couldn't decide one way or the other. But I think I've only had maybe, I don't know, a couple videos that I put chapters in. Oh, and I also was on a YouTube, one of the bigger YouTube channels, and he was talking about how to and DIY type videos, that a lot of those people go in, they know what, they know a little bit about the subject, so they'll pick and choose how much of it they want to watch. So they don't get a lot of retention because people jump around. That would probably be good for chapters, so that you could say, these several parts, and then if they were only worried about the one thing, they could go to that.
James and Doreen are talking in the chat asking, would that cut watch hours down? And Steve, you just said it would mess up your retention. So here's where you've got to decide. Would I rather the viewer say, this is not what I want to see and click off? Or would I rather the viewer get ready to click off and go, wait, I could skip over here. So they didn't watch your whole video, but they watched more than clicking off. So you just got to weigh, is it worth it to have them skip to a different part of the video?
Yes.
Yeah, it'd be so much easier to skip those long drive times with the chapters. I'm going to get hate mail.
I know James and Doreen are thinking, I want somebody to watch my whole video, but honestly, you're not going to be able to force everybody to watch your whole video. It's just not going to happen. So if you can at least cater to those viewers that jump on that aren't going to watch the whole thing, and at least give them the option to see what they came for, they're going to like you even more, and possibly that may lead them to subscribing.
Yeah.
True.
Good question, Steve.
So it's a delicate situation. I think we should move on to the next video, which is...
It's awful.
It is... No, it's not awful.
It's not... Dude,
it's clean. It's young.
Now
it's got
David,
Richard Petty in it. Did you see that hair?
First off, David, I really do appreciate you submitting this video. I think it's awesome. Second off, give us a little backstory. Is this your first
So, I think it was last week, we were having an off live topic discussion about when was our first video that hit YouTube, where we were actually talking to the camera. Now, this was my third video with Texas Family Camping, but the first two weren't really a video made about camping. This was the first one. So after we had that discussion, and I know that Scott had already submitted a video, so I thought, well, been asking everybody to submit a turd. Nobody's submitting a turd, so I guess I'd submit the turd. So here you go. Now y'all can examine my turd.
Well, with that intro, I guess we'll go ahead and play that story.
How's it going? Getting started on a group camping trip today. We're all packed up and ready to go. It's going to be a cold night tonight, about 36 degrees in the morning. Going to try out some new stuff like some new thermal socks, and I got a nice propane heater. We're going to open that up and check it out later and just see how everything works for us. So I hope you all have a great day, and let's enjoy some camping. How's everybody doing? Just on our way out to the camp? Well, just me, because some people are sick. What a bummer. Going to be camping out at a Trinity Oaks camp on the Guadalupe River. It's a private owned piece of land. We're going out there as a big group, so I won't be filming a whole lot at the campsite today, but it's just kind of a cool little place we get to go set up, and gives me an opportunity to get some filming done. We're gonna have a nice, cold, good sleeping night. Oh yeah.
Oh, Donovan, you want to lead off? No? Oh, okay. Scott. Go ahead, Scott.
Thank you, viewer, for submitting that video and giving us plenty to discuss. Let's see. I know it felt like there were two intros. We had the sitting still intro, and then we got in the car and he said, "Hey, what's up?" And then here's what we're gonna do. So we had two intros. Sorry, he's sitting right here. I can't talk about him. He's right there.
Do it to it.
Yeah, I think if you watch Dave's videos now, there aren't two intros anymore. So he's gotten rid of that. As the viewer, you're taking me along for the ride, but you didn't give me a reason to go along for the ride. I am an outside observer on your camping trip, and you're just telling me what you're doing. What I would have liked in that intro, some hook, like, here are some things we can look forward to seeing. What you actually said was, I'm not going to do much filming when I get there. But if you gave me a list of things to look forward to, or if you make me feel like I'm part of the trip, we're going to do this. I'll take you along for this. We're going to get to do this. A thing I do sometimes, well, I'll save that. I'll share that later. So maybe not two intros, and maybe let's tell me what I'm going to get to see.
Do I get to take a shot at myself? Oh, Stevie's muted.
You have to go last, bro.
I have to go last? Okay.
Yes. You
All
want
right,
me
Donovan.
to go or you, Steve? All right.
Go
Here we
ahead, Donovan. You go ahead.
So first of all, let me just say that thanks for doing what you did. There's nothing worse than putting out something that only I know this because of your intro video, how much this is killing you on the inside. And I can't wait to hear what you say about it. But I love you, and I really appreciate you doing this because this is interesting. I love the fact that you used a J-cut in your first video. You started talking while the title screen was on. I love that. I could have done without the throat clear or sneeze or whatever that was. And everybody in the chat know we only pick on the ones we love the most. And so if I'm being brutal, just know I wouldn't have done it to you. The beard and haircut are beautiful. My God, are you a young man? I can't believe how young you look. I know that's not about the video, but I still had to point it out. And what you shouldn't do is you probably shouldn't like touch your face or your nose during your videos. You should cut those out because it's kind of annoying when we do that. Not that I would do it. I mean, I'm just a hypocrite. So I do it in my lives all the time, and I do it on here. And I got to tell you, there's nothing better than me making a joke about the drive, and it was an accident. Normally I'd do a setup, but wow. This is why, but we all did it in the beginning. We all did our drive times because that's what we kept seeing everybody else doing. And we mimic what we think we're supposed to do instead of try to be creative. And man, have we changed. And I just love this show. And thank you, David, for showing that. You might have to unmute first.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I don't know. First off, I think his was better than my first. So that's pretty awesome, David. Mine was pretty bad. I might show it tonight. I don't know. Depends if we run out of time. I love the beginning, although it was vertical. Why did you intend on shooting that in vertical? Well, see, when I started off, I did not know how to do it. I just threw the phone up there like that. I was in vertical and I just did videos. And then, just from just learning, I was like, no, spin that phone. So you drop it down, you get a nice wide view. But I wasn't sure if that was intentional, because when you did your 20 seconds of road driving, it was horizontal. But I love the beginning. I love the hello, everybody. And I'm going to save something for the round table, or the whatever it is. But yeah, obviously I've got videos that I have not went back and done anything to them, but thumbnails, tags, and all that business. I don't know. I go over and I look at them. I think I have, like 20 views, and I don't know if I should spend any effort on trying to spruce them up or not, but they are what they are. And obviously, if you go over to David's channel and watch one of his videos he produces today, it's a little bit different. And you start off and we're all a little awkward. We're not looking at the camera, we're looking at ourselves, and it looks like we're looking off in some other direction. And so there's a whole learning process. And like Donovan said, and Scott said, I appreciate you sharing that. It's awesome. But it just shows how much you've evolved. So, I go back and look at mine and laugh, and then I go back and look at one that I produced, lately, and I go, whew, that feels better. All right, David, we'll let you talk. Go ahead. Tell us all about it.
So I really have no idea why I did the vertical format. Biggest thing I could think of was I was nervous of talking to the camera. That was something new for me at the time. I had not yet really done that, where, talk to the camera, making a video. I've been watching other people on YouTube, and so it probably was just some straight up mimicry of what I'd seen. At this point, I hadn't even done any research or education on how to make a video. I hadn't even got to the point yet where I started researching SEO a lot. I think that came like a month after I made this video. So this was just a straight out of the box where I'm just like, hey, I'm going to try my shot at mimicking what I see other people do on YouTube. And I don't like the vertical format. How on earth I wound up shooting myself in the vertical format, I don't know. It had to have just been nervous being in front of the camera, making those shots. As far as the hair goes, that I had all the long hair, but I had been trying to dye my hair, and that was about the time that you could see the roots. My last examination of that video here tonight, I was like, oh, look I can see the roots coming in the bottom. And honestly, it's a lot of work to dye that hair, and it just, I think that I'll just stick with it. Thank you, Kira. But hey, let's go ahead and roll it again, and we can talk a little bit more about it after when the roundtable starts.
How's it going? Getting started on a group camping trip today. We're all packed up and ready to go. It's going to be a cold night tonight, about 36 degrees in the morning. Going to try out some new stuff, like some new thermal socks, and I've got a nice propane heater. we're going to open that up and check it out later and just see how everything works for us. So I hope you all have a great day, and let's enjoy some camping. How's everybody doing? Just on our way out to the camp. Well, just me, because some people are sick. What a bummer. Going to be camping out at a Trinity Oaks camp on the Guadalupe River. It's a private owned piece of land. We're going out there as a big group, so I won't be filming a whole lot at the campsite today, but it's just kind of a cool little place we get to go set up, and gives me an opportunity to get some filming done. We're gonna have a nice, cold, good sleeping night. Oh yeah.
Hey, real quick, I see it's about time now, Brad and Diane, talking about driving. And I wanted to talk about, after what we just saw there, whereas I was talking while showing the footage. Now, a lot of times what we were talking about is we see drive time to music. And what me and Tanya have noticed, and I know some of these other guys have noticed over our YouTube journey, is that driving to the music, it just kind of puts your viewer to sleep. So unless they're there to see those specific places you're driving past, you have a high probability that you're going to lose viewers. What I would say is it's a little bit different about my video there was the fact that I was talking. So if you've got some story to go with it, it might be okay. But it would be better to blend in. As I obviously learned later on, keeping that longer than a 5-second cut of driving on the same footage is going to lose people's attention. So
That's a good point, Dave. I was watching a fantastic video the other day, and if you feel like the driving footage is important to include, like some of the places that Brad and Diana just went, that driving footage is gorgeous. But again, if we're just watching that, we're going to click off. And the video I was watching recently, it kept my attention because, like what you're saying, Dave, it was a story. They had started the story, and I think it was a conversation. And they continued the conversation as they showed us the footage. And then they continued the conversation, and then they showed us a little bit of them talking. They continued the conversation, showed some footage, and they continued the conversation and showed like out the back window. I mean, so it kept changing. But what kept us there was the story, like what Dave's saying. So that was a sneaky trick, and it kept me engaged all the time.
I'm the one that probably complains about it the most, and it's usually just because if you're having a conversation, I'm going to pick on Bob from Blue Wave Odyssey. Those two sit there and they're telling you about what you're going to see and what they're going to go do, and that's fine. But if all I'm seeing is out your window, I don't need to see that. We've all driven down the road. We know what it looks like, unless there's something spectacular and you want us to catch that little bit. Then just make it don't do the drive up to it. Don't do the drive after it. Just give us a little clip of what was cool to see, and then go on to the next thing. And if you had a couple cool things, show the couple cool ones, and then move on with your story. But when you're talking and you're telling stuff during the drive time, that's a different deal. But could you be showing the things you're talking about and make it even more interesting than just the front of the road? There's ways to do it, I think, that can be good, and there's ways to do it that, like he said, will put you to sleep. I can't sit there with somebody just driving down the road to their next thing. I gotta skip ahead. I can't. I got time. I want story. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, if it's great scenery, it's something epic. I can hang in there, but music and road footage of just the road passing up under the vehicle, I get a little anxious. Want to move forward. I want all the information. And like David said, and Scott, I believe, but the best way to keep the viewer there, if you want to show a little road footage, is keep telling that story. Either a historic event that happened in that area, or a historic something that you're going to. I mean, you could even build up a hook within that road footage, if you wanted to, and talk about what you're going to see and what's there, and sort of build that up a little bit so that when you're there, it's like, boom, there it is. So, and then again, there's probably people that would sit through a whole video of nothing but music and road footage. I mean, but I think the majority will click off.
So as we're talking about what dialogue to put over that driving footage, if you feel the urge to include it, one trick that we've started doing is sometimes we've talked about on here before. If you don't have a plan of what to film, sometimes you just grab the camera and you film everything, and you don't know where the story's going to go, and you just catch it all. Well, then when do you do the intro because you don't know what you're going to do? So sometimes we'll do the intro very last. We'll go have our adventure and then film the intro. And if we want it to be a driving segment, then we'll film the intro as we're driving. And you can be driving away from the place. Driving to it and driving away from it looks exactly the same. But now we know what it was we did. So we say, today we're going to go do, and then we list the things that we did. It's a trick that we've started using. And by doing it that way, you can pick the place you want to do the intro, because now you know where that cool spot is where you want it to stand or whatever. We were talking about Dave's vertical filming. Nick's pick said that he was doing vertical before shorts was even a thing. I mean, he was cutting edge.
Cutting edge. Yeah.
And so, while we brought up Nick's picks, I want to bring up, can you find her comment there about my first video on a new format 3 years ago?
Yeah, let me see. Hold on. I'll see how this works. Where's Nikki at?
So she's talking about where she strapped a GoPro to a golf cart and she's driving around Fort Wilderness. So there is a market for driving around certain types of areas, and Fort Wilderness is probably one of the most popular camping sites in America. There are going to be a huge amount of people that want to see that drive. So that is something people are going to search for. So Nikki has picked a good subject. So it's not, and I've even thought about this for other roads. We love driving down all these different highways in Texas. We're like, you think there's a market out there for just wanting to see a stretch of road from Bastrop to Lowland on Highway 20? You know what I mean? It's just, maybe that's out there. Maybe I could literally make a channel of nothing but that, just see where it goes. Doesn't mean that we would necessarily like it, but there might be somebody out there that wants to see that. So
sure.
I've stumbled on that type of video before by accident. I thought it was something else, and I clicked on it and I kept watching because I thought it was going to be something else. And I watched and I watched and I watched, and I'm like, I've just watched this dude drive from the hardware store to the grocery store, and that was the video. But yeah, there's a market for that.
So, Steve, I wanted to on what Matthew here is saying. You just had up.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Because I actually I was saving this for the round table. I'll read what he wrote. I may have missed it. Was this his first video? And I answered that already for you, Dave. And but his camera presence is amazing for just starting out. And so one of my notes was, I love that you showed your sense of humor. I don't know if that was a Wolfman Jack impersonation at the end or what it was, but it made me smile. And then I wanted to stay. I wanted to see what else. I love that you put you out there right away on your first one where you're doing this. And so, and he noticed it too, and I thought that was great.
So you think we ought to show this thing again?
We already saw it twice. No.
Oh, wait, did we?
Yeah, I can't get through this again.
Everybody wants to watch Steve Turtles.
Okay, hold on. I want to show this.
Don't torture me.
Oh, hush. This is my show. Hold on, I got to find that comment and get it off the thing. Okay, I want to show this because I thought it was pretty cool. It's later on in the video. It's not the portion that we were supposed to view, but I thought it was really cool because it starts off at the campground. He builds a fire. You know, he's settling into the campground. He builds a fire. He gets in the tent. He's got his little furnace going. It's like he's all alone. And then all of a sudden something happens. I thought it was pretty funny. Watch. I loved it. I thought it was great. It was quiet. We're sitting by the fire. There's nobody around. He's in the tent. He's got his little furnace going because it's going to be 36 degrees. And then the next morning, where'd all these tents come from? I loved it. I thought it was awesome. I'm sorry, I had to show that.
As I described earlier in the video, this is actually like a girls' troop type thing. And a lot of them were very picky about, their presence on social media and stuff like that. So I had to be tiptoeing through what I could record. There were more voices during the campfire. So I just, I couldn't use the audio or anything. And that was before I knew about things like epidemic sound. So
yeah.
It just was a silent video from the 1910s.
Steve Turtle, that clip was hot. That's all I can tell you. That was a hot clip.
Oh, I'm serious. No, it was pretty good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I'm going to show my clip. I don't know why. It's awful.
All right. You sure you don't want to save it for us to make fun of later?
Nope.
Oh.
We'll show it again. We'll show it again. Hold on. I don't even know.
So that you're like right there with us. I'll try to keep it interesting. I don't know if I can. Maybe I'll get better as we go.
I hope you catch the bad guys, Columbo.
I go. That was my very first video. We just got up from the camp, from sleeping at the campground. I went out to the truck and I sat in the truck and I shot my intro. And I got lost in my words and I didn't know what I was going to say. I said, blah. Blah. And I left it in.
Now, what were you doing?
Huh? Blah.
What were you actually doing? No, I mean, what was the purpose?
Well, we had, I'm not even talking to you.
He said it twice or three times. I lost count. I don't know.
It's because he started over. The blah was supposed to be where he cut.
I started crying. Man, I was laughing so hard.
So when I feel like a video doesn't do well, I go back and look at that, and then I feel much better about it. But that was my first video. We were up in Chicago somewhere, and anyway, I thought I'd share that. So David, don't feel so bad. I think you did good.
So I have a question for the four of us and everybody in the chat, and I think I know the answer because we're all creators that are a little ways into it. But what if you were telling somebody today, a brand new creator, or if you were telling yourself when you first started, would you say go ahead and put that first bad video out, or would you say no, get some practice, make 10, 12, 15, 20 videos, get good at it, and then start publishing? What would you say, Steve?
Well, I took it literal, and I watched a couple YouTube creators that were, talking about how to start. And they said, get that video out there. Don't put it off. So I did.
What do you think, Donovan? You say put it out or practice first?
I practiced first. I really did. My first video, I had to learn how to edit and everything. And then I watched some other videos and went, oh, I should probably change the way I edited that. And so I did that over and over. It took me 3 days of, 12 hours each trying to make my own music because I was afraid of copyright and everything. So learn about first so that you don't make too many big mistakes. worked for me, but it was a bad and rough 3 days. I thought Jody was going to kill me.
How about you, Dave?
So, knowing what I know now, I agree with Steve on what he's heard about from people, like, just get it out there. However, I do like the idea of having a few scheduled ahead of time, which is something we didn't know about. So I almost would just make them, get them scheduled, make them, get them scheduled, and get 3 or 4 ready to go already on there, and then keep moving and learning from there. That's the one thing I probably would have done different. But I do agree, if you don't get started, a lot of times people just keep putting it off. That's what usually happens.
Yeah, and you know, you can't. It's not going to be perfect every time. And you know, Jill and I, we always say it's not NBC or ABC. It's just YouTube.
Steve, do you see some people are answering in the chat too? We got some opinions in there on this. And if everybody goes back and looks at my first video, you'll see I'm in the camp of just put it up. I got some just put it up videos.
James says, just go ahead and video it. Camping Therapy says, my first video on this channel was just a slideshow with music.
Oh, there goes Donovan.
Oh,
McDonald's
Donovan
kicked
fell out.
Oh, wait, no, he wasn't at McDonald's. It was the state park.
We got about 3 minutes anyway. Yeah, he wasn't at Donald's. He went somewhere else.
Oh.
Hey, Scott, I appreciate you getting in here. I know it. I know you had a thing to do, but I appreciate it. You know, if you huh?
We got near the end of rehearsal, and I just went, "Bye, y'all." I mean, they'll teach themselves. It'll all work out.
Well, look, I guess we had a pretty good live stream. Got to talk a little bit about videos, video creation, and stuff like that. And I think we had a couple people over here in the chat. Somebody, Camping Therapy said I looked older. It was the hat. I might not like her anymore.
You still got that fedora?
Huh? Yeah. Yeah, I bought that just for Route 66.
So that's the Route 66 hat.
Yes, sir. It even has the pin. If I dig it out, it's got the pin on it. Route 66. That's an awesome trip. If you ever get a chance, take about a month and do it.
I'd like to avoid this Chicago portion. It's a little too much traffic for me in our
Well, yeah, what we did is we stayed at Hollywood Casino just south in Joliet. And you could drive into Chicago about 30 minutes. We drove to the sign, and that's where we started. We came back, picked up the camper, and went. Do it.
Cheated.
Okay, I gotta do this outro thing. Hold on. What?
You cheated.
No, I didn't cheat. You didn't hear that. You didn't hear that. All right, next week, Scott, VIDLIFT.
Y'all come join us.
9 o'clock. Yeah, get some videos in. If we can make fun of ourselves, you should get something in so we can make fun of you. I mean, you know, help you. But we appreciate everybody. Didn't really talk much about the chat. We appreciate everybody that came by and jumped in and played a part in the show. Hope you got something out of this. And now I'm going to do this little outro, and I'll see you next time. Bye.